Where is Iran's supreme leader? The mystery surrounding Mojtaba Khamenei's whereabouts is only growing with each passing day. Iran's president has now revealed surprising details about Mojtaba Khamenei's prolonged absence from the public eye. President Masoud Pezeshkian admits that reaching Mojtaba Khamenei has now become very difficult under the current circumstances. After taking over from his father, why has Mojtaba Khamenei still not made a major public appearance? No funeral appearance, only written messages. Does Mojtaba Khamenei's continued absence signal mounting pressure behind the scenes? President Pezeshkian has come out in strong defense of Mojtaba Khamenei amid growing speculation over his role and whereabouts. Tehran insists Mojtaba Khamenei remains Iran's greatest source of strength despite his limited public appearances after the war. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said communication with Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is currently very difficult because of the prevailing situation, while insisting his leadership remains firmly intact. Pezeshkian said that despite limited direct communication, Mojtaba Khamenei's continued presence remains a major source of strength for Iran's leadership during a challenging period. Masoud Pezeshkian said, and I quote, "It is very difficult to communicate with him at the moment, but in any case, his presence is a very great source of strength for us so that we can continue. Unfortunately, the current situation allows some malicious people to describe him differently and to present a different image of him." Unquote. President Pezeshkian made these remarks during a televised interview marking the second anniversary of his inauguration as Iran's president, addressing questions about the country's leadership. Pezeshkian described Mojtaba Khamenei as an exceptional leader, praising his humility, ethical conduct, and sound judgment while expressing confidence in his leadership during the ongoing crisis. The Iranian president defended Mojtaba Khamenei against critics, accusing some opponents of deliberately trying to create a distorted image of the supreme leader. Pezeshkian also accused political opponents of attempting to deepen divisions inside Iran by exploiting disagreements surrounding the Iran-US Memorandum of Understanding. The president said Iran is passing through one of the most difficult periods since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, citing continued external pressure and regional instability. Pezeshkian claimed that sanctions and sustained military pressure are being used as tools to fuel unrest inside Iran and weaken the country's internal unity. Mojtaba Khamenei has maintained an unusually low public profile since assuming Iran's top leadership position following the political transition earlier this year. Iran's supreme leader has largely communicated through written statements instead of public appearances since the end of the war, fueling continued speculation. Mojtaba Khamenei's prolonged absence from major public events has intensified speculation over his health, security arrangements, and decision-making role within Iran's leadership. Notably, Mojtaba Khamenei did not appear at the funeral ceremonies held for his father in July, further adding to questions surrounding his absence. Despite the speculation, Iranian officials insist the supreme leader remains fully in control of state affairs even as his public appearances remain extremely limited. Mojtaba Khamenei remains firmly out of sight as ever louder questions swirl over his true whereabouts and whether he is still able to exercise authority inside Iran. On July 26, Mojtaba Khamenei's father-in-law finally broke his silence, publicly commenting on the supreme leader's continued absence from all public events. Ghulam Ali Haddadadel told ILNA that Mojtaba is currently not in contact with any person or institution, a statement that shocked many inside Iran's political class. The senior conservative politician explained that this extreme isolation was due to certain issues, but pointedly refused to clarify what those issues actually are. Haddadadel insisted that Mojtaba is healthy despite his continued public disappearance, trying to dismiss speculation that the leader may have been incapacitated. Notably, Mojtaba has not appeared in public at all since the US and Israel launched their first strikes on February 28, a gap now stretching over several months. The new supreme leader was also conspicuously absent from the funeral ceremonies for his father, Ali Khamenei, an omission that has only intensified rumors about his condition. Haddadadel also moved to deny reports about Mojtaba's alleged economic activities before taking office, rejecting claims that he was involved in any major business ventures. The politician claimed that Mojtaba had simply served as a cleric prior to becoming Iran's supreme leader, presenting him as a religious figure rather than a financier. According to his father-in-law, Mojtaba's only income before assuming power was the standard stipend given to seminary students, with no other significant revenue sources. Haddad described all other reports of Mojtaba's financial activities as completely false, accusing critics of spreading baseless rumors to undermine the new leader. Interestingly, these remarks came just as separate reports suggested secret talks to halt the war with the United States had quietly restarted, tying Mojtaba's silence to sensitive negotiations. In a major diplomatic breakthrough, Iran and Oman have reportedly made meaningful progress during their latest negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz. On August 5, Iran's foreign ministry announced that both sides had reached an understanding on the geographical boundaries of the proposed arrangement. The proposed agreement is aimed at establishing a secure commercial shipping route through the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghai reportedly said Iran and Oman are expected to make a joint announcement on the negotiations soon. However, Iran firmly warned that no third party would be permitted to participate in or influence its agreement with Oman. Iran Foreign Ministry said, and I quote, "An understanding with Oman cannot in itself mean that the strait has become safe for passing vessels, because the factors creating insecurity in the Strait of Hormuz, particularly the U.S. naval blockade and other actions against Iran and its interests, remain in place." Reports suggest that a draft agreement has already been finalized as part of efforts to eventually reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Under the proposed arrangement, commercial vessels would reportedly enter the Persian Gulf through an Iran-controlled shipping lane and exit via an Omani route. Iran and Oman are also expected to levy service fees covering maritime security measures and environmental protection, according to reports. However, the proposed agreement is still awaiting final approval from Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, according to AP. In a significant twist, Iranian state media claimed that an agreement with Oman would not automatically guarantee the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. According to IRIB, any Iran-Oman agreement would deal strictly with future commercial shipping arrangements and nothing beyond that. Notably, Iran has firmly rejected any southern shipping corridor through the Strait of Hormuz that is backed or proposed by the United States. Iranian lawmakers have also accused Washington of attempting to impose its influence over the Strait of Hormuz through military threats. Iran further warned that the Strait of Hormuz would remain closed unless the United States completely halted its military strikes. The reported Iran-Oman breakthrough comes shortly after Donald Trump once again issued a fresh warning to Mojtaba Khamenei. The U.S. president told Fox News that Iran must reopen the Strait of Hormuz or risk renewed American military strikes. Trump said, and I quote, "We were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II, and they called me and said very politely, 'Please, can we talk?' The strait's going to be open very soon, or they're going to get hit very hard, and then the strait's going to be open." Iran would never have a nuclear weapon. Formal assurances to that effect would be part of any agreement. If Tehran withdraws from negotiations, they're going to get hit really hard. They want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. If they don't make a deal, it's going to be too bad. On August 4th, Donald Trump also claimed that negotiations with Iran were going nicely, suggesting that diplomatic efforts were still making progress.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.